to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. In today's video, we'll be going over multiple storm chances, including a severe weather outbreak today and on your Wednesday tomorrow across the southern plains and the southeastern United States, what you need to know, and then a heat wave building next week across the Great Plains and the Mississippi River Valley. How hot will temperatures get? And then a tropical weather update. Any storms brewing in the tropics, we'll update you on that later on in today's video. But going back to yesterday, it was a very busy day on the severe weather front for Monday, June 12th. We had a lot of hail reports, lots of wind reports across the southern plains, getting across the Gulf Coast states and into the southeast. But fortunately, that tornado report list has actually been to zero, so that is good as well. But we did have 39 wind reports, 58 hail reports. 19 of those hail reports were 2 inches or larger in diameter, and 97 severe weather reports going back to your Monday, June 12th. Well, here we go again. We got the stationary boundary in place across the southern United States and the southeast today and on Wednesday. It goes nowhere into the middle of this week. So as such, we have a very strong subtropical jet off of the eastern Pacific Ocean down here, crossing over the Baja of California, the southern Four Corners region, and then the strongest belt of westerlies in the jet stream are across the southern plains and the southeast today into your Wednesday. And as such, the severe weather threat prevails as we go into this afternoon. So another enhanced risk in the orange across the Dallas-Fort Worth area. That is a level 3 out of 5 on the scale, with a level 2 out of 5 in the yellow shaded colors here across southeastern Oklahoma, getting into southern Arkansas, northern portions of Louisiana, central Mississippi, Alabama, getting into southern Georgia here, parts of northern Florida, and southern South Carolina later on today. And what these storms could bring to the table is more significant hail over 2 inches in diameter, with the highest probability of that over the north central Texas vicinity near Dallas-Fort Worth and getting over toward Tyler, Texas. But we still could be seeing some significant 2-inch or larger hailstones there as we go across southern Arkansas, northern Louisiana, Mississippi there, Alabama, and south central Georgia there as well. Also a little bit of a significant area up here into the northern Texas panhandle, into the western Oklahoma panhandle as we get later on today. And those are the same areas we'll be watching right along those stationary boundaries for a tornado threat as we go later on today. So sending it up 3 o'clock this afternoon, just a few hours from now, we'll be seeing storms continuing to billow up across north central Texas, across the Dixie Alley region, watching out for severe storms. Not every thunderstorm will be severe, but if you do get under one of those storms, just watch out for damaging winds, large hail, and possibly a tornado. And then we'll continue to see this going through the mid-evening hours here tonight. This is 9 p.m. Central Daylight Time. We're still seeing those storms starting to develop more numerous across the southern plains there, from Kansas down into western Oklahoma there, and especially North Texas. We'll be watching those areas around the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex going into this evening for more significant hail. And as we go into Wednesday with a strong subtropical jet and a lot of moisture, lots of instability building, no surprise, there's another widespread area for severe storms, another level 3 out of 5 in the orange shaded color for Jackson, Mississippi, across the Montgomery, Alabama region, into southwestern Georgia. Those will be the areas at highest concern for severe weather on Wednesday. More significant hail across the Gulf Coast states here, from southern Arkansas, northern Louisiana, eastbound, all the way to the Savannah, Georgia area there in coastal Georgia. So we'll be watching that, and the threat for a tornado or two there, especially near Jackson, Mississippi, the Montgomery, Alabama region as we go into your Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening. And taking a look at the timing of the storms, we could have some ongoing clusters of showers and storms during the late morning, early afternoon on Wednesday, June 14th. This will primarily be across the Georgia region, Alabama, into northwestern Florida around noontime. Then we'll start to heat up the atmosphere behind that with a lull in the action, and then more scattered supercells developing later on in the day toward the late afternoon, early evening. This is 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time, and you see scattering of showers and storms. Again, not everybody will see severe weather or thunderstorms, but if you get under one of these, they could produce damaging winds, large hail, and a couple of tornadoes. tornadoes. As we go into the midnight time frame, this is overnight, we'll start to see more widespread, if not numerous, thunderstorms develop. Again, not everybody will see severe weather, but I'm more concerned overnight for a flash flooding threat to start to develop across Georgia, Alabama, back into Mississippi here. That's where we'll have multiple waves of showers and storms moving through. And then as we go into Thursday, we'll start to quiet down the severe weather a little bit, but still a marginal risk across Nebraska, Kansas, eastern Colorado, and then down here across the Gulf Coast states from Mississippi, southern Alabama, southern Georgia, and into northern Florida as we get later on this week on Thursday, June 15th. But going through the week today, all the way through Friday morning on June 16th, we do see a stripe of some very heavy rainfall with multiple waves of showers and storms crossing through northeast Texas, southern Arkansas, with the heaviest rainfall amounts down here through Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and into parts of North Florida. These will be the areas to get hardest hit by the rainfall. So if you live in Jackson, Mississippi, the Birmingham, Tuscaloosa region, especially down here into Montgomery, Alabama, and just south of the Atlanta metro area, yeah, we could be seeing widespread 4 to 7 inches worth of rainfall today through Friday morning on June 16th. So definitely watch out for some flash flooding. The flash flooding threat is highest today into your Wednesday morning across northeast Texas here as you travel northeastbound out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, up here toward Texarkana, Shreveport, Jackson, Mississippi, Montgomery, Alabama. Those will be the areas at highest concerns for flash flooding today into your Wednesday morning. Then that shifts ever so slightly further to the east Wednesday afternoon into Thursday morning, encompassing more of the Birmingham, Tuscaloosa region and just south of the Atlanta metro area there toward the Savannah, Georgia region and coastal Georgia by the time we get toward later on this week. Well, if you like detailed weather breakdowns on North America, including southern Canada, the United States, and the tropics, be sure to press the subscribe button down below. I appreciate all the new subscribers out there, all the old subscribers supporting this channel. I do appreciate that. And I post mostly every single day, so be sure to press the subscribe button down below. And it's also extremely important to press the like button, the thumbs up button down below the video. It helps out more than you know to get this weather information out to as many people as possible. So I do appreciate pressing the like button as well. But looking at the upper level pattern during the middle of this week, we have an upper level trough spinning up here across the eastern Great Lakes region and into New England. And this is promoting lots of cloud cover and some scattered showers revolving around the upper level low, and this also includes southeastern Canada as well. And you can see the temperatures underneath that is into the upper 50s to 60s out here. It's a chillier, more cloudy, gloomy day across New England and southeastern Canada, the eastern Great Lakes region. Seeing some off and on showers and storms there. But back to the west, we're starting to see hints of a building ridge across the southern plains, especially central and southern Texas toward the Rio Grande Valley. That's where the temperatures today into your Wednesday will be into the 90s and even into the triple digit mark as well, with more 80s further to the north. As we get to late this week, this is Friday, June 16th now, we start to see hints of that ridge building further north toward the Red River here into Oklahoma and Texas, and that will promote more of those triple digit temperatures surging further to the north, getting close enough to the Dallas-Fort Worth area to where you drive about 15 miles to the south to Waco, Texas. You're already up to around 102, 100 degrees there in Abilene, 103 back here into the Midland, Texas region, 103 down here into the Brownsville, Texas region on Friday. More of those 80s and low 90s up here across the Missouri Valley, the mid-Mississippi Valley on Friday. And then as we go into Father's Day weekend, on Sunday, Father's Day itself on June 18th, we'll see a stronger trough develop across southwestern Canada and the Pacific Northwest, and that will usher in some active weather across the Midwest and the Ohio Valley going into the Father's Day weekend time frame. But that will start to surge more of that heat a little bit further to the south again. But we still see the mid triple digits down here, 104, 105, 106 degrees possible just south of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. More 80s and 90s across the eastern two-thirds of the country for Father's Day itself. But there are hints at some rainfall. So at least some scattered showers and storms could start to billow up with a piece of energy, a short wave, rounding that ridge on the northern periphery across across Minnesota, western Iowa, Nebraska, down here into Kansas on Saturday. And then as we go into Sunday, it rounds that ridge to the southeast. So the heaviest of the rains will be felt there into Missouri, Arkansas, eastern Oklahoma, and down into the Dixie Alley region, the same places where we see the heavy rain this week going into this upcoming weekend. And here you see the total rainfall accumulation over Father's Day weekend. This is just Saturday into Sunday now, and you see the heaviest rains will be felt in toward the Tulsa area, getting down here into Little Rock, Memphis, Nashville. Those will be the areas, maybe St. Louis here as well, with 1 to as much as 3 inches worth of rainfall going through this upcoming Father's Day weekend. So definitely, at least on the northern periphery of this, we do need the rainfall desperately as the drought does continue to worsen. We are seeing a moderate drought developing across parts of the upper Midwest, the lower Midwest here, and the Ohio Valley, with more severe and extreme drought developing in towards Nebraska, Kansas, and parts of Missouri as we go here with the latest drought monitor as of just a few days ago. So it would be nice to see some decent moisture here into Iowa, Nebraska and Missouri, especially parts of Illinois as well, as we go in toward this upcoming weekend. But beyond Father's Day weekend, going into the following week, this is Tuesday, June 20th through Monday, June 26th, and that ridge will take off. We'll start to build the heat in the middle of the country with a classic omega blocking pattern where we have a trough on the west coast and the east coast of the United States with a ridge in between. And you see those temperatures next week on Tuesday, June 20th, widespread 80s, if not 90s, all the way up here to the international border and across the border into Manitoba and also Ontario and even Quebec, Canada as well, with widespread triple digits into Texas. Yeah, we could be pushing 110 degrees Fahrenheit into the Abilene area by next Tuesday, and that will be more widespread into Wednesday. Look at that, guys. 108 there into the Waco region, 106 into San Antonio, 103 in Abilene. Yeah, it's going to be very steamy down across the southern plains going into next week with the 80s and 90s further to the north there, and that does continue as we go into Thursday, June 22nd as well. As far as the precipitation trends go through the long term, it does look a lot drier down here across especially New Mexico into south central Texas and the central Great Lakes region under the influence of that upper level ridge that builds into next week. On either side of that, remember, we have that omega blocking pattern with those troughs, so that will bring more energy across the Pacific Northwest, and the northern plains will promote at least slightly above average precipitation across the northern periphery of that ridge and to the east of that ridge into the east coast and the Florida region as we go through that 20th through the 26th time frame there of June. So you do see that the total accumulated precipitation June 20th through the 26th. Yeah, the heaviest rainfall up here across Montana. Lots of heavy rainfall, unfortunately, across the Saskatchewan area. I know there's a lot of fires in Canada going on, wildfires. We do need the rainfall up there. Hopefully not a lot of lightning with this, but definitely seeing some significant rain there, upwards of about 4 to 5 inches, and widespread heavy rain during that last week there in toward June across the southeast and the mid-Atlantic. Some of these places into Virginia, the Carolinas, and Georgia could be pushing over 6 inches of rain going through that 26th time frame there of June, so we'll be watching that as well. Turning to the tropical weather update, this is the current satellite imagery of the tropical Atlantic, the Caribbean, and the Gulf. Very quiet across the region here as we talk about the tropics, and the reason for that is there is a very strong Bermuda high pressure system anchored across the central tropical Atlantic today, so this is steering any tropical waves that try to get going westbound and really far south as well toward the northern side of South America, and that really continues through the weekend. Look at all the dry air moving across the Lesser Antilles, the Caribbean, and the Gulf of Mexico. We are watching a bit of a wave that tries to move off the coast of Africa that could become more of a tropical wave over the eastern tropical Atlantic by this upcoming Father's Day weekend. This wave could be pushing across the tropical Atlantic and approaching the Lesser Antilles by the middle of next week on Wednesday, June 21st. Now, this will be the next area of interest. If that high pressure system moves further and further off to the north and east, we could could start to see some moisture and maybe some tropical development further to the south. It is way too early to call here whether this will turn into a system or just some heavy rainfall, but we will be keeping an eye on it. The EPS ensemble member pressure centers does show this again just east of the Lesser Antilles by the middle of next week. The GEPS is pretty similar, just a little bit further to the south here, and the GEFS is really crazy with all of these pressure centers. He has one to the east of the Lesser Antilles, one across the Western Caribbean and Florida. I really don't buy the GEFS ensemble members right now, as they've been kind of all over the place here over the past several runs. So we'll be continuing to watch this moving forward. But nonetheless, the waters are boiling across the tropical Atlantic here in the main development region from Africa to the Lesser Antilles and across the Caribbean here, and really even to some extent the Western Gulf of Mexico. So we will have to watch any tropical wave or any feature that moves across this region going through the long term. But the National Hurricane Center is not worried about it. Through the next 7 days, there is nothing happening across the tropical Atlantic, the Caribbean, or the Gulf of Mexico. So that is some good news. However, on the Eastern Pacific side of things, there is a 20% chance of development over the next 5 to 7 days across this area just south of Mexico here over the open waters of the Eastern Pacific Basin. And again, showing this today, we have a little bit of a tropical disturbance moving across the Central Americas. This will reach the open waters of the Eastern Pacific Basin by late week on Friday, June 16th. And it really never gets going too much here because we have a strong high pressure system across central Mexico. And this is actually that ridge that starts to build into Texas. And that's going to keep all of this moisture off land into the open waters of the Eastern Pacific, and that actually moves it further away from North America as we get into early the following week as well, on Monday, June 19th. So that is some good news. It looks to avoid Mexico and really the Baja of California as well as we go through the early portion of next week. Well, if you want additional weather forecast updates, including on Twitter here, hit the description down below and follow me on Twitter at HWeather420. I definitely appreciate that. I do update on that fairly frequently throughout the week. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching each and every day, supporting the channel, all the new subscribers, all the old subscribers out there. I do appreciate that. Remember to press that like button. It definitely does help to get all of this information out to as many people as possible. I appreciate that very much so. And leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. I'll get to those later on today. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new, and hit the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates on this channel. Have a great Tuesday, everybody. A great rest of the week, and I will see you all in the next video.